Online. Okay. So guys, please keep this in mind. Okay. In our starting IAM, we have learned this. There are two ways to access AWS. So there are two ways to access AWS. What are those? One is console. Console, that means GUI. And another one, programmatical access. Programmatical access meaning how do we access? Using CLI. Good. Using CLI. So for console, how do we log in? Using username and password we log in. But whereas programmatically, how do we authenticate? Using access key and secret key. Access key and secret key. So remember, whatever we do, whatever we are doing in the GUI, we can do the same thing also in the CLI also. So whatever we are doing on the console, everything can be done on the CLI as well. Okay. So in fact, we can do even more than GUI. Okay. So, but as I told you, the CLI is a small package or a software that you need to install. This AWS CLI is a what? Is a software. So if you want to access the AWS CLI from your Windows machine, you need to install the software. And if you want to access AWS CLI from the Linux machines, you need to download this software. Got it? Right? So wherever, guys, okay, now tell me, first question is, can you run your AWS CLI in your Windows machine also? Yes. Can you execute the CLI commands on your Linux machine also? Yes. What do you need to install? You need to install the AWS CLI software you need to install. So on Windows, AWS CLI can be installed on Windows and Linux. It can be on Windows and it can be on the Linux. So for Windows, you need to download a package called awscli.msi file. What is the software that you need to download? awscli.msi file. And for Linux, we need to use commands to install AWS CLI. I'll show you. Guys, if you go to internet in Google, just download awscli.msi. Let's say, for example, I'm just giving you, see, go to Google, AWS CLI Windows download. Okay. If you go here, right? Do you see here? Windows. Open it. And do you see this MSA file? So just copy this URL, right? And then paste it here. And see, download it. Right? So what you need to do? Open it, click, next, finish it. We know that, right? How to install. Yes. So, so you just need to click on next, open, click on next, and finish it. And once you finish it, and how do you open CLI on your Windows? Go to command prompt. I'm showing it in the Windows. Go to command prompt. And from here, if you type AWS ---- version, I've already installed on this machine. Looks like. Do you see this? AWS CLI is installed? Yes or no? So in your Windows also, in your command prompt, you can run your AWS CLI commands. But how do you authenticate from your Windows? Using access key and secret key. So here you need to use a command called AWS configure. What is it? Once you enter, it will ask for access key. See? Do you know how to get the access key? Yes. From where do you get the access key? From IAM. So get from IAM, put an access key, and it is asking for the secret key. And it asking for the region. Which is the region that we should be using it? What is the code? AP minus South minus 1. You need to put that region code. And then output format. I'll write all these things. So there are 3 types of outputs. How many types? 3 types. So those are table format. What is that? Table, JSON, XML. What are those? Table, JSON, XML. So which is because when you run any command, you can easily see the output, no? Will you see it in the JSON or XML or table format? Which one do you like? Table format is good because whenever you run any commands, everything will be visible inside the table. Nicely, it will be visible. So which one is suggestible to use the output here? Table. So enter, just put the table here and then enter it. Now can I run AWS commands? Blah, 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 blah. I can write. Can I launch EC2 instance from here? Yes. I'll show you how to do all these things. Okay. But do you all understood how to configure from your Windows laptop? Yes. So now this is AWS. Okay. And this is your laptop. Your laptop or my laptop. Any laptop is fine. This is the laptop. Okay. So your laptop is Windows laptop or Linux laptop? It is Windows laptop. So now, so from here, from your laptop, you are connecting to the AWS, correct? From your laptop, you are connecting to the AWS till now using what? Using console only, no? So using AWS console, you are connecting it. AWS console. And how you are authenticating? Using on the console, username and password, you are using it. And you are opening the browser, correct? Similarly, there is also another way to access AWS, which is the way? CLI access. From your laptop also, what you need to install in your laptop? AWS CLI. So here you need to install AWS. CLI you need to install. Once you install AWS CLI here, and through CLI, you can, CLI meaning command prompt, no? Using command prompt, so you open it and you access AWS. Understood? There are 2 ways to access AWS from your laptop. One way is using AWS console, opening the browser, and second one is through the CLI. And how do we configure the CLI in your laptop? So first of all, you need to install AWS CLI, no? Once install AWS CLI, what is the command that you should use? First command, AWS configure. What's that? AWS configure. Then what we need to provide? Access key. Then what we need to provide? Secret key. And what we need to provide? Region. And then output. What is the output that we use? Table or JSON or XML. And which is the region here? AP minus South minus 1. Understood how to configure? Okay. Do you all understand how to configure from your laptop? So from your laptop, you can open through browser also, or you can go with the CLI also. If you want to use the CLI, what is the software that you need to install? AWS CLI.msi file you need to install and then download it. Download and then install it. Okay. Now, let me show you through I showed you from the Windows and I need to show it from the Linux also, no? So if I want to have a Linux machine, I need to go and launch EC2 instance, no Linux. Do I have Windows? Our laptop has Linux machine? No, right? So let's go and launch one Linux EC2 instance. So in AWS, I went and launched the Linux EC2. So here, Linux EC2. So guys, inside this Linux EC2, if I need to access through CLI, what I need to install? AWS CLI I need to install on the Linux machine. Yes or no? How do we install? Using some commands. I'll show you later. Why show you? Here only. Here. I open the Windows, no? And which one here? Linux. So you just need to run these three commands. If you run these three commands on the Linux machine, your AWS CLI will be installed. I'll show you that, how to install. Okay. So once you install, and if you want to, and what you need to configure, how to authenticate? We need to configure here what? Guys, I have installed AWS CLI. I've installed AWS CLI and I want to authenticate AWS CLI. How to? Using keys, access keys and secret keys. So I need to do AWS configure, correct? Yes or no? On the Linux machine, once I install AWS CLI, what I need to do? I need to do this AWS configure, putting access keys and secret keys. Remember, once you install AWS CLI, will you automatically get the access? No. What you need to configure? Keys you need to configure. What you need to configure? That can be Windows machine also. That can be on a Linux machine also. Guys, once you install AWS CLI, download and install, what you need to configure? Keys you need to configure. Without keys, how do you authenticate? You open the browser. Now I see here. I open the browser here. I haven't put my credentials. Can I access AWS? You need to put the credentials, no? Then only you can access the console. In the CLI, what are the credentials? Credentials are nothing but keys. And how do you configure that keys? AWS configure. You understand? Okay. Okay. Now, you tell me, is this a good way of configuring the keys in the local machine or a bad way? Huh? Good way, bad way? Not recommended. Bad way, right? So, what is a good way? What is a good way? You guys are all good people only, no? Then you should know the good way also. Huh? You're coming near. Somewhere. Oh, coming. Where? What is it? What is that? Rose. Let's go. What is that? Rose. What is that? Rose. Do you remember Rose? So, and we starting days we learned, right? Is it recommended to configure the keys in your EC2 instance? No, keys are stored locally on the EC2 instance. If someone has logged into the EC2 instance and someone can see your keys, yes, easily can see. Is it good to configure the keys on the machine? No. What you need to use? Roles you need to use. If you attach the role to the EC2 instance, do you need to configure the keys inside? Not required. Okay. So, and then this is the bad way, right? Configuring the keys on the instance is bad way. Then what is a good way? Okay, so I launch one EC2 instance. This is a Linux EC2 instance. Inside that, I'll install AWS CLI. And should I configure the keys here? Should I configure the keys here? No. I should not configure the keys. Instead of that, what I need to attach? A role in it. So I need to create an IAM role. And what kind of permissions I can give to the IAM role? Guys, because whatever the services that you want to access from the CLI, those permissions that you need to give to the role. Let's say, should we go and launch EC2 instance using CLI? So that means I need to give EC2 permissions. And should I go and create some few buckets using CLI? S3 you give. So like this, whatever the services that you want to access through CLI, those policies you can attach. And this role, you attach it to the EC2 instance. And this is the good way or bad way? Good way. Clear? So, bad way. I'll mention bad way. What is a bad way? How to do bad way? Launch EC2 instance, right? And install AWS CLI. And then configure keys and execute few sample commands, CLI commands. So this is the bad way, Nana. So I'll go with the good way now. What is a good way? For the good way, how do we do it? Launch EC2 instance and install AWS CLI. Configure keys. What we need to do? Attach role and execute view sample CLI commands. So here, create an attach role. You understand good way and bad way of doing it? So should I show you good way or bad way? Huh? Good way, bad way? Both, huh? So you want both. Okay. I'll show you the bad way first. Good way is easy, no? Good way is very easy.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Where should we go now? Go to EC2. So you are in Mumbai. So let's go and launch instance. Click on launch. And call it as CLI demo. Okay. And then browse, retire, and then Red Hat. Down T2 micro and go with name batch, editor, subnet 1, select which one? Default security group, and then launch. So I need to check my security groups. In Mond, edit, which one? SSH. So nothing is changed. So that's fine. So I have launched a Linux EC2 instance. Guys, on Windows, in your laptop, I showed you how to configure. Okay. I showed you how to configure AWS configure. You need to open the command prompt in your Windows laptop. That can be Windows EC2 instance also. If it is EC2 instance, will you configure the keys? No. What you need to use? Roles you use. But in your Windows laptop, you configure the AWS configure and put the keys here. open putty, paste it, appearance, poll. So it's still initializing. Can I open? It will work? Not yet. Let's see. Okay. EC2 minus user. Sudo minus. Yes. Okay. So now where we are now, guys? On the EC2 instance. So from here, I want to use AWS CLI. First of all, you need to check, do we have AWS installed here? By doing AWS minus version, do we have AWS installed? It says what? It says command not found. That AWS command is not found. So what we need to do, we need to install the AWS CLI. How do we install it? Go here, and I'm giving this URL to you online. Okay. And then should we go? Are we using x86 or ARM? X86. So curl is the command we use. So copy and paste. Enter. So if you do ls, AWS CLS zip file got downloaded. So the curl is command to use for HTTP to download the zip files to access any HTTP request. So do you see? We have zip file. We need to unzip it, no? In your normal Windows laptop also, you download it. What you do? You will unzip it. So what is the command to unzip here? Unzip and then this. Okay, let me use this command. Unzip and what it is saying? Which one? Unzip command not found. That meaning unzip is installed? No, we need to install unzip. What is the command to install? Yum install -y unzip. Done? So should we do this unzip now? Unzip now. It is unzipping. So we have this AWS folder got created. What is the next command here? Sudo .aws/install. In this AWS, there is a installer called install. So sudo install. And now is installing AWS. Done. So now it is showing no USR local bin. AWS is installed in which directory? USR local bin. You can go to directory. You can go to this directory and put AWS minus version. It will work. Otherwise, copy this entire command and put it here. Do you see AWS CL is installed now? Do you all understand how to install AWS CLI? Very easy. Okay. Now, what is that? How to copy? What copy? Pradeep, what do you mean by copy? So from here to here, this one, select, drag and right click. Okay. So once you get habituated in the Linux, you will understand that. Okay. Okay, Nana. So now I have just installed AWS here, AWS CLI. So to authenticate, what we need to do? Keys we need to configure. So what is the command to configure? What is the command I said? AWS configure. So AWS configure. Put AWS configure. Enter. So we need to use the whole path, no? AWS configure. And it is asking for the access key. From where do I get the access key? IAM. So go to IAM So go to users and I have my user in security credentials. So create access key for command line. You acknowledge and then next and create keys. So key is created here. Copy that and then paste it, right click it. And it is asking for secret key. Copy it, right click it. And it is asking for region name. What is the region name? AP minus South minus 1. It is asking for output. Which one? Table. Do you all understood how to configure? Everyone understood how to configure the keys? Super. So now, from here, we need to execute some sample commands. Okay. So guys, here, what kind of permissions I have for the IAM user called Ria? Admin permissions. So I have full access to my EC2, I mean, full access to all AWS services? Yes. Right? Do you remember I told you this? If you have an IAM user, okay, so if you have an IAM user and if you have given EC2 permissions to it, and for this he has two ways to access it. One is one is console, one is CLI. So for console also, what kind of permissions he has for console? What kind of permissions he has? I'm asking, for an IAM user, I have given EC2 permissions. When he log into the console, what kind of permissions he has? EC2 only. When he log into the CLI, what kind of permissions he has? EC2 only. So both has the same permissions? Yes. So based on what kind of policy or permission that you have attached to the IAM user, the same will be for the console and for same will be for the CLI. Good. Okay. So now we have authenticated. Are we ready to execute few commands? So which are the commands? So which service should we take to run some commands? Should we take EC2? Okay. I know that you will take EC2 S3. For that reason, I have prepared for you few sample I have given you sample commands for you for easy reference. Okay. So, okay. Now, okay. So now we need to, let's assume we need to launch an EC2 instance through CLI. We need to launch an EC2 instance through. Guys, can you tell me, you have launched so many times EC2 instance, no? What are the options that you need to give to launch an EC2 instance? Name, what type, instance type, key pair you need to give, security groups you need to give, VPC you need to select, subnets you need to select. Volumes, those are all default, no? Are we giving any details there? So when you're launching the EC2 instance, few are mandatory, few are not required, correct? So those mandatory things that you need to give it here. You can give everything also, no problem. You can give all parameters. See here. So this is AWS and EC2 refers for the service name. And then in order to launch an EC2 instance, what is the command that you should use? Run minus instances. Guys, in certification, they don't ask the whole command. They'll just ask run minus instances. What is the command to launch an EC2 instance? Run minus instances. What is the command to stop the EC2 instances? What's the command to start the instances? To terminate minus instances. You're getting it? So here, in order to run the EC2 instance, from the console, we select so many things. So through command line also, you need to give all these details, no? Run minus instances. And then you need to give the image, no? We select browse AMI. Which AMI that we use? Red Hat, right? So every image will have AMI ID, correct? Do you remember AMI ID? Every snapshot will have ID, snapshot ID. Every instance will have instance ID. Every volume will have volume ID. Every image will have image ID. So how do you get that image ID? For example, okay. So let's say you have AMIs. Uh, do you see this image ID? All the image IDs. Okay. If you have your own AMI, your own AMI will also have your AMI ID. Correct. So guys, whatever, see, when here you are launching the EC2 instance, so whatever the information that you are giving here, you need to give the same information in the CLI. See here, you are giving the name. Name is nothing but tag, no. But this is mandatory or optional? Optional. So I need to give AMI. AMI is mandatory. And then I need to give the instance type. I need to give the key pair. I need to give all this information, right? Similarly, here also in command line, you need to give the information. So you need to give, you are giving the image ID and how many EC2 instances that you want to run, you want to launch. One, and which instance type? T2 micro, which key name? 9A batch. Which security group? Default security group. Do you know how to get the security group ID of default security group? How? So go cancel it. On the left side, you have security groups. So do you see? Go here, you have security group ID. So copy all these things and then subnet ID. Do you know how to get the subnet ID? Okay. So click on launch instance. Click on launch instance. No need to have any sequence for this. And do you see here in the bottom, edit it. We select the subnet, no? Do you see subnet IDs here? So these are all one time. If you keep it ready and copy it and keep it ready. So within, okay, let's see here. Okay, am I giving any other parameters here? Because the rest are all optional. Yes or no? The rest are all optional. If at all you want, you can give. Let's say, can you give the volume details also? Yes. And if you ask me a question, sir, how do we remember all these things? You know need to remember. Okay. The only things that you should remember as a part of certification is run minus instances. Rest in your real time, we will be going for the Google Mother. So here, go here. Okay. Launch EC2 using AWS CLI. So do you see there is a documentation for this, the parameters. So do you see this? Run minus instances. For run minus instances, do you see these here parameters? These are the parameters you have. Based on the requirement, you need to pick it up. So based on my requirement, I have picked up few inside it. So what are the things that I have picked up? Image ID, count, instance type, key name. Do I have all these things here? Do I have image ID, instance type, right? And then security group, subnet ID. So guys, if you want to, whatever you want to give, you can just give it. Okay. So if you are, AIM ID, I gave it, no? Image ID. Akilu. Akil is number one, huh? Akilu, huh? Ayagar number one. Okay. Okay. So here we are giving the image ID, no? This is the image ID. Okay. So do you all understood, guys? So in real time, you can pick it up based on requirement. You can pick it up any kind of parameters here. Okay. So if you come down also, you will get the example. You know from where I copy paste. Should I tell? Come down, come down, 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 come down, come down. What are all these? Instance types. Okay. And if you come down, there should be some example. Hold on. Because there are so many parameters for this, no? So global examples. Do you see? Example. Do you see this here? So AWS EC2 is the service name. Run minus instances. You give the image ID. You give the instance type. You give the key pair. Simple. And launch. And output you are getting. This is what format? This is JSON format. You want output like this, you will get the output. If you want table format, you will get the table format. So for each and every command, you will have all the command line reference, you have it. So you just need to pick it up based on the requirement. So here I picked up here. You understand this command now? Everyone, you understand the command? And there is a question somewhere. Sir, if we don't have access from console, how we can get AMID? We are asking. In real time, don't we have access to the console? You will have. Without giving, it is like, you go to the restaurant and he put the empty plate to you, no biryani, nothing, and then waiter is asking to eat, pretending that you have biryani there. So if he's putting the plate, obviously he'll put biryani inside it, correct? So definitely you'll have the console access, and then because definitely in order to get all this information, you need to have the console access. If your manager say that no, I don't want to give the console access, ask all these details to manager only. Instead of giving, he'll give the, don't worry, Babu, take the console access. Don't ask me. Right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, now. Can I copy it? And then go ahead and then paste it. So I clear it and then launch. Okay. Guys, how much time? See, from the console, we select that, this, and everything, and then we click on launch, and then it is taking at least 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, right? And you see, if you have all this information ready in hand, I'll just enter. Or what is this here? What is our correct? Simple. So 9 a.m. Wash. Simple. Done. What format is this? Table format. So everything you will get is using the table. You see this? All the information you have. So status is attaching, and then do you see this? What is the state here now? Pending. So if I go to the console and then refresh it, do you see this here? Just now one new EC2 instance got launched. Just enter one single command, EC2 instance got launched. And if you want to have 10 EC2 instances like this, simple. Inside this, what you put? Count, you put 10. In one spot, you can have 10 EC2 instances will get launched. So basically, this CLI is used for automation purpose. Okay. Chumma people don't go with the CLI and use it. If you are doing the automations, then for developers, for any kind of automations, then they go for the CLI. It's simply having Windows laptop or simply having Linux laptop. That is the difference. Which one do you prefer? Your laptop. Your laptop, you prefer Windows laptop, right? Will you prefer Linux laptop? Because in Windows, it is easy. No, everything is GUI. But if at all you want to do some automations, and if you want to do some scripting and all, then you will prefer Linux. Similarly here also. Okay. So you need to learn this CLI, how to set it up, how to maintain it, how to configure it, how to run few commands if required. And now I'm running these few commands, guys. Okay. And I collect the 5 commands. And can I write it as a script? Yes. Can I combine 5 commands and that commands will become a script? You put on top shebang and then enter all these things, and automatically it will become a script. Okay. What is this doing? Stopping the EC2 instance. In order to stop the EC2 instance, we need to have instance ID, no? Should I go and get the instance ID? Which one? Second, select one, and this is the instance ID, right? So here I put it. Now clear. So now you put it and then stop. What is the status now? Stopping. So if I go here and refresh it, and it is stopping. So whatever you want to do, guys, whatever you want to do, everything you can do it using the CLI. When time comes, when the requirement comes, this is how you should be doing it. Okay. So it is really, I cannot go one by one and explain all this. Tell me, what is this doing? Start the EC2 instance. What is the command to start? Start minus instances. This one. So you can put the instance ID. Yes. Can you give multiple instance IDs? Yes. Tell me what is it doing? So, for example, do we have any tag for this new EC2 instance? There is no tag. If at all you want to add a tag, so we need to give the instance ID, no? So replace the instance ID here and then run it. If I refresh now, will I get the tag? You see? So everything you can do it through the CLI. Try it out, Utkarsh. Okay, so now, Nana, describe volumes. What is the meaning of describe volumes? It will list all the volumes. It will list all the volumes you have. Tell me, what is this doing? Yes, you can do, Pradeep. What is it doing? Online guys, what is this command is doing? Tell me, guys. What is it? Creating a additional volume of size 10 GB in which availability zone? 1A. Which type? GP2. So generally we created volumes, no, from console. If you want to create the volumes from the CLI, this is the command you can do. This one. If you want to attach the volume, you need to have a volume ID and you need to have the instance ID to whom you are attaching it. And you need to give the device name. This one, detach. This one, and this one, how many keypads are there? It will display. Terminate. This one, not this. This one. Creating the image. In order to create image, you need to have instance ID. From instance only, you are creating the image, right? So put the instance ID, give the name and description. This one. What is the meaning of deregister? Deleting the image. So I cannot list on all the commands here, correct? Just for your reference, I have listed on few, right? Sir, we always need to do all commands in EC2 CLI or we can use normal role. What is normal role? We always need to all commands in EC2 CLI. Or can we do it normal? Can you help me? Normal one meaning GUI? Akhil? Then put the question properly. We always need to do all commands in EC2 CLI or we can use no. Can you please put the question again? Okay, so can you create a snapshot like this? Okay, let's say I have given example. Can you create a load balancer? Can you create a load balancer? Yes. Okay, now there is no command of creating load balancer. Tell me how do you do it? How do Array. Okay, create AWS EC2 create minus load. You need to know syntax. No, where do you check? In Google, right? Tell me, sir, open Google. Tell me, open Google. Type what? Create load balancer in CLI. What? Create. create AWS load balancer in AWS array. Okay. So do you see here? Thank you, Nandakishore. Okay, so create load balancer. So here, do you see the command? Create minus load minus balancer. Give the load balancer name. Do you remember we have listeners, no? What is our listener? HTTP. Very good. Availability zones, 1A and 1B. Subnets, we can security groups. So schema, internet facing, internal facing. So all these things you can give. Okay. So if you want to have a small example, do you see this here example? AWS, ELB, create load balancer name, listeners, protocol is HTTP, load balancer port is 80, HTTP 80, and give the subnet and security group. Hit enter. So for each and everything, you have a command line reference. Take that reference and you can change all the parameters accordingly. Is it clear? Okay. So do you remember this, Nana? This URL? What is this? So what is instance metadata? Data about the instance is called instance meta. All the information we'll get it from the detail section. But if you want to get it from the CLI, what is the URL that you should use? HTTP colon slash slash 169.254 169.254 slash latest slash meta minus data. Remember this? Right? Okay, now so here use the command. So I'll tell you how to use it. So curl, put this here. If you put it, it will give all these parameters. Now let's say I want to know the private IP of this EC2 instance. How do you check generally private of the EC2 instance? Select this, go to details. This is a private IP. This is how we do it through the GUI. And how do you do it from the CLI? Use this URL and then at the end, do you see this here? Local IPv4. Put that local IPv4 at the end. Enter. Do you see this IP address? And you want to know the public IP. How do you get the public IP? Instead of local minus IPv4, where is that? Public IPv4. Put it. Do you get the public IP? And you get the DNS name. Local host name. Do you see the host name here? So this URL will be helpful if any developer is writing some script and they're executing anything in this machine. And if you want to get all the information of the EC2 instance, they'll use this URL and they'll get all the information like this. So what is this URL? This URL will be a certification question. Can you just tell me again the URL? HTTP colon slash slash. Very good. How much is 1 kg? Okay. Understood. Okay. So 169.254, 169.254 slash latest slash meta minus data. So at the end, whatever the parameters that you need to you can use that parameter. Okay, Nana? So I have gave few examples on the EC2. Should I give you? And I have also written few examples on S3. And how do you do this S3? Okay, now AWS and EC2 will be replaced with S3. What is MB? Mahesh Babu. Make bucket. What is that? MB refers to make bucket. Do you remember in S3 I told you URI? S3 colon slash S. I told you URI will be used in CLI, I told, right? So how do you identify S3? S3 colon slash slash, and then you can. So this is the command to create a bucket. Should we create a bucket? Okay, let's say go here, clear it off, put it, and then my bucket. Is it possible to create my bucket? If you put also, what will happen? Error. It says bucket already exists. So instead of that, put it as 9 a.m. test bucket. In which region you want to create? AP minus South minus. If you want to create it. And if you just put S3 and then LS meaning listing the buckets. You got the bucket here? So if you want to do anything also, you can do it from the CLI with the S3. Guys, why I'm getting S3? Do I have permissions to S3 here? Yes, the access key and secret keys that I have mentioned here as admin permissions, right? Otherwise, I don't get it here. Okay. So now, okay. Tell me this, what is doing? Excellent. So MV for move. So you are moving from where to where? From local. This is test.txt is in my local and I'm moving to S3 bucket. So moving from local to S3 bucket is nothing but upload. So this is used for uploading purpose. You can upload. So I'm just not okay, let's say S3 move. Okay, let's say for example, do I have anything here? Okay. Okay, forget about it. So I'll create a small uh, touch test.txt file. Okay, I have txt file now. Should I move to the S3 bucket? How do I move, Nana? So AWS S3 move. Which one? Test.txt to where? S3 colon slash slash bucket name slash test.txt. Moved. If I go to S3 now, move meaning if I do ls, do I get my test.txt here local? Move is my nothing but cut paste. That is move. CP meaning copy. So you'll have local also in the S3 also will have. So if I go to S3, I should be seeing those things there. So yeah. Do you see the bucket? And do you see this here test.txt? Yes. Just imagine if you have so many files to upload. Can you upload it through CLI? Right? If you have, instead of drag and drop and upload so many things, configure the CLI, and if you have so many objects, upload, boom. It will get, and then leave it off. It will start keep on uploading, like it will keep on uploading it. Okay. Okay. Nana, what is this doing? Online guys. It is moving exactly one bucket to another bucket. Simple. This one. S3 to S3 to local. S3 to local. That is nothing but download. Yes. This one. Okay. You are moving the whole bucket. What is a dot represent? Dot represent current directory. So dot represent current. So whatever the objects I have inside the bucket, I am downloading into the current directory. What is this minus recursive? That meaning, guys, in this bucket you might be having so many subfolders prefixes, right? So you need to use minus R. In Linux, we use minus R. Minus R for recursive. Recursive meaning all your subfolders, sub bucket, sub objects, everything will get downloaded. Where it will get downloaded? In the current directory. What is current directory, Nana? That's what Linux is about. PWD. What is PWD? Home EC2 minus user. So this present, this is called current. If I put dot, this is my current directory. Okay. Okay. Tell me this. Hmm? All images. Tell me correctly. Exactly. Moving your local directory. This is my directory is local. Guys, if you don't have S3 colon slashes, that meaning it is local. If you have S3 colon slashes, meaning it is S3. So you are moving your local directory to this bucket. Everything you are moving except star.jpg. Except star.jpg files, everything it is uploading. Okay. LS is for recursive, and this one is used to get the size of your bucket, and copying from local to bucket, bucket to local, everything I have given here. What is RB? RB, remove bucket. What is RB? Remove bucket. Should we go and remove it? What's the command to remove it? AWS S3 RB. Which bucket? S3 colon slash slash my bucket. So let's say, for example, if I use like this, it failed. Why? Bucket is not empty. So generally from from GUI, we need to empty the bucket. You know, here, simple, minus minus force, gone. Otherwise, they're into delete, copy, permanently delete, copy paste, and then delete the bucket name here only once, pasak. And do you remember sync meaning here? Whatever the data you have it in this bucket will be synced to this bucket. And can you sync from your local to bucket? From you sync your bucket to local? Yes. Can you set up website also using CLI? Yes. So guys, mostly I have given few commands here. You can start executing these commands. If at all you want, you can use your own commands also. No problem. So do you all understood how to set up AWS CLI and how to work on AWS CLI? So I showed you how to do it in the bad way, good way, and also guys, and I told you, hold on. I told you did we configure the keys on the EC2 instance? Did we configure the keys on the EC2 instance? Yes or no? Now, at the moment, did I configure the keys on this machine? Yes, I told you the keys are stored somewhere locally. Should I show you where are the keys stored? CD, there is a hidden folder like this. CD root slash dot AWS. If I do ls, do you credentials? And what is the command to read the content? Cat credential. Do you see the access key secret keys? How danger is that? Right? Please write down. That is important. Where do you see this? CD root directory dot AWS and do ls and cat credentials. So it is okay. We only need to do all commands on PuTTY, or we can do it on CLI also. Command line. You can do it on CLI also, Akhil. Both is possible. So from your Windows, this is the command line. And from EC2 instance, PuTTY. Nana, you understood? Is it recommended to configure the keys on your machine now? No, not recommended. What you need to do? Create roles. So roles thing, will you do it? Will you do it? Even more easy. What you do? Launch an EC2 instance, install AWS CLI, and will you configure the keys? No. What you need to do? Create a role. And you create a role, and what kind of permissions will you give? EC2 and S3. Those are example. And attach the role to the EC2 instance, and then run the commands. Simple, no? I want you to do that. Okay. I'll write that also for you. What is the first step that you need to do? Launch EC2 instance. Second step, install AWS CLI. Third step, create IAM role and attach uh, EC2 and S3 policies. And then fourth, attach the role to the EC2 instance. Fifth, login to the run sample CLI commands from the EC2 instance. This one you need to do. So the tasks are, you need to do the bad way also, you need to do the good way also, and from your own laptop. Can you do it from your own laptop also, guys? In Windows, can you configure the keys on your CLI on your Windows? Or is it in your Windows like this? Yes or no? In your Windows have the CLI? No. And install AWS CLI on Windows. Guys, you need to install what? AWS CLI dot MSFL. On your Windows, install it and open the command prompt, configure the keys and start running the commands. So you have three ways. I showed you three ways to do the CLI. One is from with the keys, and second one is without the keys with the roles, and third one is from your Windows laptop. Okay. Anna, is this clear? Chiti, online. Guys, this CLI, see, we need to launch an EC2 instance, we need to install AWS CLI, and then we need to configure the case or create a role in the backend. We need to do so many things, no? And if you want to have immediately on the spot, your CLI environment, if you want to have the CLI environment immediately on the spot, AWS has introduced this topic. So if you go to your, do you see on the top here? This is called Cloud Shell. What is this called? Everyone say again. If you click it, we call it as here Cloud Shell. This Cloud Shell is your CLI environment. You know to install, you need to do nothing here. So just click on it. Boom. And automatically your Cloud Shell, your environment is getting loaded. In which region? In Mumbai. Because you are in which region here? Mumbai. So your Cloud Shell is ready. So if you do AWS minus version, CLI is there. Can you run the commands here also? Yes. So I want you guys to open Cloud Shell and run S3 commands, for example. Okay, ma? So from here, you can run the commands. So this is the easiest way of using your AWS CLI. Okay. And how to remove it off? Do you see here action? Do you see? Delete AWS shell home directory. Delete off. And we don't need no. And close it. Otherwise, whatever the data you have it will be there inside it. Not required. Will you be able to do this? CLI? Understood how to set up CLI, how to configure CLI, how to do everything? Yes. Tell me the question. Yes, Srikan. and others. So when we have console, which is very okay, I understood the question. So when you have a console, I already told this. So guys, when you have a console which is very user friendly, why do you use CLI? CLI is used for what purpose? Automation purpose, right? So if you want to do it for some automation, if you want to run some commands, let's say for example, and some developers are doing some Baba code, okay, and then they want to launch an EC2 instance. So they will be using this command, whatever the command that we are using, they use this command in their script, right? And they'll start running the code. So automatically for the developers for doing some automation, and if you want to do it quickly, then go with the CLI. Sometimes we'll use it, guys. I'm not saying this continuously we will be using CLI, no. Mostly we'll be using console only, but if there is any requirement comes, then we need to be ready with the CLI also. That's the reason we have learned CLI also. Okay. Yes. Any other questions, Nana? Correct. Thank you, Srikanth. He Madam sir, Madam ante, he replaced with sir ante sir. Srikanth. Okay. That guy saw something in Madam. What you saw here? Voice, very good. Okay. You have nice voice. And ఒక పాట పాడండి ఏదైనా మాట్లాడండి ఓకే sorry those who don't understand, but yeah, this little bit good. I take that as compliment. Many people say that, especially online. Thank you, Murli. Some people say, sir, are you doing part-time job as RJ, radio jockey? Some people say, sir, are you giving dubbing to any people in movie in cinema industry? Huh? But yes, I heard many times. I was always saying, you can do the side job also. Huh? Yeah, yeah. I was the big who gave for Arundhati Bommali. Huh? Okay. Nice voice, nice presentation. This nice entrepreneur, excellent trainer. Our give to people who are below. Very good. Thank you, Srikanth. Today I don't eat much. You have base voice like Sai Kumar. Huh? By birth. Okay. Fun. Nice. Yeah. పోయింది. Okay. Thank God he said Agni IPS. Riya's IPS he didn't say. From AWS I'm moving to IPS. Yes. Thank God you are not asking me to sing a song now. Okay. So fine. I think there are so many uh, very good guys. So there are so many people here online also joining from US and very different countries. For them, it is night 12 o'clock. It is better to shut up now. I need to shut up and then close the class because I should not waste their time. But good one. So guys, so what I'll be doing is this CLI commands I'll upload it in Classroom. Google Classroom. So you take this CLI commands and then try to execute it. Okay. And then finally terminate your EC2 instances. So season మాకు దర్శనం ఉంది కదా రండి 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 ఐఎమ్ హియర్ రజియా సుల్తానా yeah I respect your name because yeah no my mom's name she, she's not with me she's not anymore yeah so that's why I still remember her name when she joined on the day one corona very bad time a couple of years back so many people lost so I lost my mom, I lost my brother-in-law, I lost my mother-in-law, and very it is very bad. I don't want to go back to the point. So I always that's the reason why I always love and I, you know right. I don't go anywhere. I don't watch movies. I don't go anywhere. I don't have much friends. My only friends, my only entertainment, my only fun is with all you people only. I mean, basically my batch, my students. So my life is only this, nothing else. Okay. So yeah. Yes. Good. Okay. So guys, I'll be sharing this um, CLI commands in the classroom. Please complete all your practicals. If you have any pending practicals, guys, access points. Access points. Access points. Please complete that access point. If you want help, please get the help from mentors also. Uh, ask them to uh, ask them to learn and come and teach. Okay. Okay. Try no. Try first. Okay. Good. So can you give the final CC for today, please? Okay, cool. So that's all, guys, for today. And I'll see you on Monday with the next service. Until then, take bye bye. Have a nice day and have a nice weekend. Enjoy the climate here in Hyderabad. So see you on Monday, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.